so strong. Join the movement where dreams belong. From Lagos to Nairobi, hear the call. Skillweed Academy, break down the walls. Rise up, leaders, let the beat guide your way. Unlock your potential, seize the day. From the dance floor to the boardroom, let your light shine, shine. Skillweed Academy, it's your time. Oh, 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 feel the drums pulsating, the energy so strong. Join the movement where dreams belong. From Lagos to Nairobi, hear the call. Skillweed Academy, break down the
Hey there,
walls.
Prof.
In the heart of
Yeah, I can hear you.
a flame ignites,
You're good.
a rhythm so
Uh,
vibrant. It sets minds alight. Skillweed Academy, where leaders are born.
all right, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining. As always, thank you everybody. I'm your host, Grc in the house, everybody. How are you, everybody? Okay, let's go. We'll kick up in the next 1 minute. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for taking the time to join. If you don't mind, happy President Day to everybody. If you don't mind, just jam the like button real quick. Jam the like button. Thank you all for joining. Thank you. Thank you so much, folks. We'll make it an eventful one. The next few minutes, we would have one of our mentors. We just want to help and get her ready for an interview. That's all. It will be fun, folks. Thank you, everybody. Let's go. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for taking the time to join. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Happy President Day. Thank you all. All right. As we always do here, let's see what part of the world are we logging in from. Dallas, Texas in the house. Let's go. Let's go. What part of the world? Dallas, Texas in the house. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, all right. What part of the world are we logging in from? Let's see. Big D in the house. Maryland. Oh, Maryland, New York City. Love it. New York City, Maryland, Olu in the house. We got Maryland, New York, Michigan in the house. Awesome. All right. Barnett, UK in the house. Berlin, Germany in the house. Houston, Texas in the house. Thank you all for joining. San Francisco in the house. Let's go. Thank you all. Let's go. Go ahead. Let's see what part of the world you're logging in from. Columbus, Ohio in the house. Thank you, Tunji. Thank you all. BMB in the house. Let's go. Thank you, everybody. All right. Okay, let's just give the next 30 seconds to get going. Let's go, people. Thank you all. All right, welcome aboard, everybody. Thank you all for taking the time to hang out. There are many things you can do on a Monday like this. You chose to hang out with us. So big thank you, everybody. Thank you, Teddy, and Minnesota folks, Maryland folks, UK folks, Berlin folks, and everyone. Thank you all for joining. The goal today, as always, we know how we do it, folks. Let's start by jamming the like button so more people can get to see the channel. Thank you all for making this happen. We strictly just come together as a community and we help each other to be successful. I'm just a facilitator. just the figurehead here, and you all just make things happen really at the end of the day. So your questions and your feedback we provide to our mentors, and they will use it to go ahead and get the job. We've been blessed. Over 80% of our folks that come to the Lions Den always eventually get a job. Now, remember again, the goal is not to have a perfect interview scenario. That's not the goal. Your best days were a little bit stingy here, really. Your best days will still give you probably a 5 over 10, not because you're not good or awesome. It's strictly because we want to force you, we want to induce you to kind of push it a little bit, push the limit, and ultimately come back with an offer. Taufik is always bragging. New York, the greatest city in the world. Thank you, sir. Love it. Hey, why not? All right. So, so that's the goal. So we have a role today. It's a risk analyst role. So I'm going to quickly go through it, what I think the role entail. Then we'll have the privilege of bringing up stage also Rosemary in the house. What's up, sis? How are you?
Hey, good morning, bros. And good
Awesome,
morning,
awesome,
everybody.
awesome, awesome. You got this, sis. Before I bring you in back, I'll just quickly go ahead and just share with every one of us to see what this role entail. Then we can bring Rosemary in to come and do our magic. But this is what I think about the role, okay? And this is typical, The role is a risk analyst role. And analyzing and looking at the role, I said, okay, this is what I think based on my initial estimate of what that role entails, we should prepare ourselves for. So, let's quickly get into the role itself and we can just quickly talk about it. So, it's a risk analyst role. The question now is that what is the role of a risk analyst? So, you're going to be responsible for identifying potential risk in an organization. And that means it could be operational risk, legal risk, financial, or any of those major risk points as determined by your business. The second thing typical is this. Now, telling me there's a problem is step one. It's not always what I care about. The main thing your leadership cares about is, so what are we going to do about it? How do we fix it, right? At the end of the day. Then the third thing is we need you to also be able to monitor industry trends. It's important, it's a no-brainer. I think if I ask anyone to tell me some of the risk out there today, I expect you to tell me cloud potentially, AI potentially, because these are the new emerging trends out there, right? So that's a big one to think about in general. What's going to be your key responsibility? You're going to analyze those risks. You're going to develop a strategy to mitigate the risk. For those of us in our program, you can always know we always push out towards coming up with a mitigation plan and action item, prioritizing those actions for your leadership to know what to do ultimately. Then, of course, monitoring the trends as we talked about earlier on also. Then another big one out there is this, because you're dealing with risk, it's fair to say, beside your regular information technology side of things, you have to align your thinking also with the legal team. What's the legal implication, especially when it has to do with regulation, right? So it's a big one. The financial is a big one. Of course, you're not the one telling them the financial model or the numbers for their organization. They already have the information, but you just quantify it for them to understand the potential impact. If our system is down, what is the financial impact potentially? They will give you that number also upfront. Operational also, how does it impact the operation of the business? That's a big point also. Then, of course, this is like the big daddy of everything or big mommy of everything is reporting and communication. Really, this is really what do you do after understanding the risk I'm exposed to? You need to gather the data, you know, gather all the relevant risk information, analyze the risk. A lot of us, we know with the risk analysis side of things, you're checking of the overall risk, you're checking of the impact, the likelihood on your business itself, then the type of risk itself, then ultimately a mitigation plan to fix that risk, Then of course we have to come up with preparation of reports. Ultimately, your leadership, your senior management would want to get reporting details. Then you have to present the result. It's not just the presentation, also it's socializing it and ultimately getting buy-in from the relevant stakeholders also. Skills for success. Of course, people will tell you we want analytic skills, communication skills, problem solving skills. Among this, communication skill will be a big one because people want clear and concise information on what to do. It's not enough to tell me there's a problem. Most times I actually know there's a problem. So, what are we going to do about it though? If you don't mind, please strike and like us on YouTube real quick. That would help other folks to see us. If you don't mind, thank you. So, what are the key steps again? Just a quick workflow: identifying the risk, recognize the potential risk in your organization, assess the risk, evaluate the likelihood and the impact on your business, come up with a plan to mitigate those risks also, then continuously monitor and track and adjust as needed the strategy for your organization ultimately. And of course, this within the organization you sent to me, they have a path towards growth, a senior risk analyst, a risk manager, then you become a director of risk. That's the path they have. They told you why do you want to join their team. You know, they have an impactful workforce. They have a plan to make you grow as a professional, and they believe in collaboration as a whole. So, but this is really the gist and summary of the role itself as a whole. All right. So we start without wasting much time. You know, this is the fun part of it, and again, remember again, folks, what we do is simple. We just want to help Rosemary to be successful in the process. And we just want to make sure we just go ahead and ask her some questions and just take it away. So let's start. And you can, after that, you can actually just go ahead and, you know, after that, would take questions, we'll provide feedback, then just have fun. All right. So let's get started, sis. So we saw a resume online, Rosemary. We think you might be a fit for one of our role. We are looking for a risk analyst. We have tons of issues right now, and one of our challenge has been remediation of those existing issue. So we need someone that can come in, a self-starter that can help us to immediately identify those risks and prioritize them and begin helping us with remediating of those risks. So if you don't mind, can you walk us through your experience and what you've done and why you think you're a fit for this role?
Okay, thank you very much, sir, and thank you.
Sure.
Yeah. So basically, I work in my name is Rosemary, and basically, you want me to tell you what I've done.
Yeah, just
I
go ahead.
um, excuse me. I work in based on my resume.
Yeah.
Okay, I work as a account payable representative. And
Okay.
what I do basically on a good day, I get to the office on time, gather all my informations, and start
If
processing
you don't
them.
mind, Rosemary, can we just focus on your risk analyst experience? I've seen in your current role, you also did risk analyst role. So let's just focus on the risk analyst side of things. Yeah.
Okay. As a risk analyst, I identify potential risks, threats and vulnerabilities that are threats to the organization. And by so doing them, I identify those qualitative risks by doing my risk assessment. By identifying those potential risks, I evaluate the impact of those risks. I eliminate the likelihood of those risks. And at the same time, I do a risk metrics for them. Then I do my final documentation to it
Okay.
by registering all those risks associated with it.
Okay. So how do you typically convey the priorities in terms of the risk to your leadership? So you've built a risk register, you have all the risk information, you prioritize them. How do you go ahead and communicate it to your leadership? And how do you push for their buying?
Okay, thank you very much. What I do is I analyze the data,
Yeah.
I process my findings, and I prepare the report. Then I present that report, giving a timeline to it.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So let me ask you. So, you know, one of your findings, your leadership disagrees with, your assessment of the risk. You thought it was a high risk. They thought it was a low risk. How would you navigate and treat that in your organization? You think it's a high risk, your leadership thinks it's a low risk. How would you handle that?
Um, based on my reports and assessment I've given to them, I will need to let the management see that the ones that are critical are top notch and should be addressed immediately.
Okay. So the ones that are critical. So if they if and this is just, I mean, I'm just throwing it out there. If your leadership thinks a risk is not critical, how would you convince me as a leader that it's a critical risk? What would be your approach in general? So, yes, I understand. You think it's a critical risk. I disagree with you. I think it's not critical. So, how would you go about, making me come to your side to understand it's critical? So, within our organization, for example, if you have a disagreement, we will go back to our risk matrix and our pre-established ranking of what the risks are typically, and we would align together and say, well, this is the categorization of the risk, and this is the reason, especially the impact potentially on the business. So we have to specifically show the threat landscape so that people can understand this is why it's critical. So it's backed by data typically. So mostly when we go that route in our organization, our leadership tend to agree or disagree with us. Okay, let me ask you another follow up. Walk me through the process you've used in the past to conduct a risk assessment.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
sure.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The process we've used, like I said initially,
Yeah.
is to identify those risks.
Okay.
When you identify the risks, you check where the vulnerabilities. You identify those risks by checking the assets, the data, the assets, by identifying those hardwares, the softwares, and checking off the assets and the threats, the vulnerabilities coming from them.
Okay.
You you do um excuse me, you do a risk mitigation plan to it.
Okay. Good. All right. Okay.
Then you do a risk continuous monitoring plan. You have a monitoring plan to ensure that such threats that have occurred before
Okay.
will not occur anymore again.
Got it. Got it. So what about a case where you have third party security risk and you are asked to enforce security service level agreement in the vendor contract? What's going to be your typical approach? So this is, a common risk we know, and we want you to enforce this SLA in the vendor's contract. What's going to be your approach to this? Or
Um,
in your opinion, what's a common third party security risk you've seen out there?
in my
So for it,
opinion,
yeah.
okay.
Go ahead. What are some that you personally think? Oh man, third party. This is a big risk we've seen. In our space, for example, there are so many regulations we are expected to be in compliance with. We have prepared for our Canadian residents. We have GDPR for our European members. We have in California CCPA for our California residents. So,
I got it.
and the tricky thing for us is how do we ensure compliance from our service level, from our third party in general? What would be your take in terms of the big risk you've seen out there for your third party?
And for our third parties to implement access control, like continuous monitoring and every other, e.g., like the
Okay,
vendors are the third party people. You have to implement strict monitoring controls for those people out there.
okay. Do you use any solution to monitor those controls by chance?
Yeah, the EPA.
Not the regulation generally. I mean, do you use any tool to monitor the controls?
Okay, like the SIM tools, the Splunk,
Okay,
Nexus tools, and QR radar tools.
okay. So those are monitoring tools for incidents in general. Okay,
Incidents in general.
all right, got it. Now, do you have any knowledge in using a GRC solution?
No.
Okay, you've never used one, Archer, ServiceNow, OneTrust.
Okay, I have an idea of service now. Raising
Okay,
tickets.
got it. Just for the ticket inside.
Just for the
Okay,
ticket itself.
okay, got it. Tell me your opinion in terms of supply chain risk. What are some risks you see in supply chain of operation of businesses in general?
Okay. The risks involved in supply chain could be in general business, could be failure for some suppliers to deliver on time.
Okay.
when they are expecting a particular goods coming in, suppliers are not reporting on time, or geographical issues, or could be war.
Mm,
Sometimes there could be war in a particular location, and those things are the risks that might affect delay in supply chain.
got it. Okay. Another follow up is that, if you can highlight some general key risk indicators you typically look for, and what are those that you use in your organization? What are some key risk indicators in your business, especially for a third party? What would be some trigger point to think, huh, this supplier or third party service provider could be a trouble spot for us?
I'm trying to get your question. The key risk indicators, right?
Yeah, just any key risk indicator you've used in the past.
Um, I'm trying to.
Okay.
Um,
And that's okay. So sometimes in our organization, for example, we would use even communication as a key risk indicator. So if I have a supplier that is not really responsive, that could trigger a risk concern for us. If I have a supplier that is constantly missing on, timeline of deliverable, that could be a key risk indicator. If I have a supplier that has history of non-compliance to some of our requirements, those could be key risk indicators for us, right? So um, every organization would have what they consider the key risk for the organization, right? So I was just curious to see what if you guys had one. Okay, got it. So let me ask you in general. Tell me any framework you're familiar with as a whole.
NIST framework,
Okay,
ISO 2000 and 27001, ISO 27002.
okay, got it. Are you inclined to use any framework to map your third party risk management program?
Yes, enterprise resource management
Okay,
framework is also a
okay,
framework whereby you combine. Let me give a typical example. Now, you want to work with IT team, or you want to work with as a risk analyst, you are supposed to collaborate, do a cross-functional activity with the IT legal department
yeah,
and other team. So you can come up with an enterprise resource management solution, bringing all of them together into one enterprise software.
architecture. Okay, got it. All right, perfect. Okay, that is fair enough. All right, let's go into um, in general. Why do you think you're a fit for this role? What makes you a fit for this role?
I think I'm fit for the role because I'm here to solve some of the problems that are standing, or those issues that need to be resolved based on my previous experience and my line of where I'm coming from. I think I'm a good fit for the job.
Okay, let me ask you another follow up. How do you generally handle conflict with any senior leadership? So if your direct manager, you don't agree with them, how would you handle it? They make a decision you don't agree with.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, in regards to you not me not being able to agree with a fellow team member or my manager, what I'll need to do, I'll talk to other team members about it instead of going above my direct manager, or draw up a communication plan, make my highlights what I think should be need to be done, and probably present it to him again for a second review.
Okay. So, got it. So, after presenting to this leadership, he or she still does not agree with you. What would you do?
Then I will go with their own plan.
Okay. So, you're flexible enough to, okay, got it. What about how do you work with younger team members in your current role? How do you work with analysts that are junior analysts? What's your leadership style?
Okay, working with those teams by gathering information from them, ensure I train them regularly to meet up with the company standard,
Okay.
I
Okay.
liked those excuse me.
No, I'm listening. Please go ahead.
Okay, I liked those areas and key functions that we need to focus our attention on. Regular training is required, and or periodic training, teaching them not to, when they see, when it comes to some certain things, emails and phishing mails and other things, they should not open them. They should seek, and they should not just have any control to, for there will be access control. They won't have access to some certain system. So you just need to be doing regular training with your fellow junior colleagues as well.
Okay, got it. So let me ask you before we wrap up. Do you have any questions for us?
Yes.
Please go ahead.
Um, Thank you very much once again. I wanted to ask, okay, since I'll be working with you as my line manager, what are the two most important things you think I'll be able to resolve when I come into the business?
So there are two key things for us. Culturally, for us, we need someone that is very adaptive. You need to be able to adjust quick. We are very fast paced. And secondly, and actually most important, is a self starter. Someone that can just take ownership and run with things. You know, we're a small team, so none of us would have time to hold anyone's hand at the moment. So we'd expect it to just be a self starter and just execute.
Okay.
All right, cool. Okay. All right. All right. All right. Cool. 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 Okay. So, folks, please go ahead and start giving feedback. Remember again, folks. I think Rosemary understand. There's nothing personal here. We just throw it to you what we think. Number one for me, we have to reduce quite a number of things. Don't tell me thank you very much repeatedly, right? Because that looks like you're, trying to flatter me. So, it's okay. Just thank you once is fine. The second thing is that we want you to have more structure. You know, we need to really make sure we have very tangible example ready to go, you know. And it's okay for yeah, I know this is the first time you were kind of telling me, hey, should we move it? I said, no, don't worry, just let's cruise with it. Because I know the more you do it, you get more confident and comfortable. And that's the purpose of this platform, to be honest. So I need to, I want incremental growth. I need you to improve. The next time you're just gonna kill it, you keep doing it better. That's the goal ultimately, right? So I want to make sure you're structured. So if I and this goes to everybody, if anyone asks you, you need to have three ready to go star situation, task, action, result. Boom, you're ready to go. There's no kidding. If you ask me about risk, I'm ready to go to tell you about risk assessment. Boom, and personalize it. Tell me, in my current role is the hospital system. We have new devices that are deployed, MRI, CT scan, X-ray machine. And my role is to conduct an initial risk assessment to understand the impact, the likelihood of certain risk happening in this new you know um, deployment. So you are specific, you are giving me example, because the point is that you are creating mental image to me so that I can think about it and say, you know what, oh, wait a minute, this is similar to the problem I'm facing in my organization, so it gets much more relatable. So make sure you own it. And so for everybody, no matter how smart you are, I'll recommend always have like 3 4 use case ready to go. If I ask you, you're just ready to go. You're so ready. You're just going straight up. You know what to do. All right, so that's the first one. Let's another one. Okay, I like this. Okay, let's remember again. We're gonna just take it in good faith. Always remember again, this is not an entry level role. We have to make sure the body language, the smile, the confidence, use the STAR methodology, right? I like that, Ayo, because those are the things that people are really, really looking for at the end of the day. We know you are an experienced person, and let's be honest, no matter how smart you are, sometimes the nerves take the best of all of us. That's okay. But ultimately, no matter what happens, stick with your script. It does not matter. I have my 4 areas I'm going to talk about. Even if I'm not comfortable with your area, I'll sneak it back to my area of strength ultimately. But you have to have 4 ready to go. I could tell you didn't use any structured use case for me. You kind of winged it. You were kind of pushing it. Some parts were very strong, some parts were really weak. And if I wanted to dig deep, it would really blow everything apart. But if you have your structured approach, nobody can challenge your project because you've honed it, you've personalized it. You've told me, it's a financial industry or it's an insurance industry. This is what we do. This is the purpose. So now you've made me understand it's unique to your business. So honestly, it's a code word of shut up, suck it in, because this is going to be my own organization. I'm telling you the story of my own company, right? So nobody's going to, I can't challenge your industry because you know it more than I do. So if you tell me, hey, this is what we're doing, this is the one, you're going to trigger curiosity in me because I'm happy that, oh, okay, oh, tell me more. Okay, oh, really? Oh, okay. Then in my mind, I'm thinking, you're playing a mental game to me. I'm thinking of, oh, this is similar to my industry. Oh, I like that. We can use that help there. So you're kind of tying it to me to make me relate with your story. So we all have to be storytellers. I think we should do a community event on storytelling, really. It has to be story. If it's not a story, it's not relatable. And this goes to everybody. You must have a story. In any interview, it doesn't matter. Tell me your story on third party. For some of you that talk about third party, I heard it. Your story can be as simple as, hey, we have a TPRM program, and my role was to review the program and establish the gaps there. There are so many trends out there. We have remote workforce, we have AI, and we have so many new regulation. My role was to go review our current third party risk management program and identify the gaps. That's it. That's a big Sounds easy on paper, but that's a big work. I'm looking at your full program and identifying potential gaps. If you tell me that, I would relate with it. Or you tell me, I was doing vendor review, you go into specific, make it a story, okay? So another one, let's quickly see, and we'll be out of here. Um, okay, somebody said there are basic gaps in technical skills, so cloud security, real world. The key here is make sure you give us real world scenario. You must give me stories, okay? Okay, I like this. Somebody said she came alive when she started to tell a story with her own voice and style. Okay, I like that. Storytelling is biggest strength. Own the material and tell. I love that, boss. I love it. And I agree with that sentiment. When you talk about the ARP's part, something just snapped in you. I think I played to your strength, which was awesome because I noticed your strength there. You started talking more and you were more natural. So this goes to everybody. You must never go for any interview without having a few stories. Whatever we did in our program, own it, make it a story. We have executive summary for every one of those topics. Talk about it, be comfortable, and make it a story. And Bumi mentioned using SIM, focus on fear, FAIR, which is a big one. I'll probably do a segment on that. It's just a good risk monitoring and management tool, factor analysis of risk. So, which is good. We'll figure a time we can do a community event on that. Okay, I like this. Conflict resolution is especially where GRC, blah, blah. Okay, I like this. So, again, be careful here. I kind of set you up to say conflict with your leadership. For everybody on the call, when somebody asks you conflict with your leadership, blah, blah, no sentiment, just say, I stick with the risk. Once you tell people that, they understand that, most times just focus on the risk and I keep highlighting it to my leadership. And many times when I highlight the risk to the business in terms of operational, reputational, they tend to into my concept. Because many times, number one, I'm here to see anyone that fights their boss and win. You cannot win. So, don't play that game, right? If you fight your boss, you're going to lose. There's no way. You cannot win. Either you just get out of there or go to a new team, whatever. But you can't fight your boss and win because your, top leadership, even if you bypass that boss, if you go to the top leadership, guess who they will support? It's just, it's an unwritten rule, so it's tough to win. So many times if somebody asks you, how would you handle conflict with your boss? Be very mindful. I want to see the way you would, and I like the way you said, "Oh, I would defer to you ultimately," because ultimately you call the shot. But I'm never going to do it without first be honest and transparent to tell you the risk, right? So we are going to call out the risk. Then ultimately you make that call. Okay, let's another one. Please, if you don't mind, like us, jam the like button, please, everybody. Jam, we're about almost 130, 140 at some point. Jam the like button if you don't mind. I like this. Storytelling is part of, yeah, I love it. I love it. So, storytelling, we're going to probably do a community event on storytelling, and I think it will be useful to every one of us, to be better storytellers. And don't overthink it. All we are saying is you have all of this information, put it in a story so that it's relatable. For all of us, we can agree growing up, it's always story time, story. These are things that mentally, as kids, as adults, people love stories. Okay, let's another one before we bounce. Okay, I like this. I like this. This is a good point. Nana said, telling the story does not have to be long. That's very true. Be very precise, straight to the point. Do over, some of us are, don't overstretch it because it loses meaning if it's too long. Straight to the point. Then look at the facial body cues. And that's why video is good. You can tell and figure out, oh, okay, are they feeling it? And one thing you should do to your advantage, always ask, do you have any questions? Especially when you look at the body language and you feel this person is kind of squinkling their eyes or they are not confident about my response, just ask, do you have any question? Should I clarify? You know, it's an opportunity to quickly give them additional substance if you think they are not clear. Okay, let's use another one here. Always use generic terms, tools instead of mentioning things like Splunk. I like that. Yeah, because you don't want to cage yourself. If you tell me a tool and it happens to be a tool I use a lot, then you are going to make me ask you about that tool. So it's better you just keep it, generic. I like that point. That's a good point. All right, somebody says star method. Thank you, Lola. Okay, I like this too. Don't start with I think, repeat I am. Okay, I love that. Yeah, that's a good point. Own your stuff. Don't say I think I am because we can agree people want certainty, confidence. And if you are, yes, I know you own stuff when you are wrong, that's fine. I get it. But if you're telling me you think, no, I don't want you to think because you have done this before, right? I need you to tell me what you have seen and done. All right. Yes, if there's a mistake, you own it. I get it. But I need you to be confident. So I think I agree with that too. Okay, somebody said, I love, I admire your courage. You got this. We trust you. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Go and shine. Man, I love this community, man. Yeah, we don't bring each other down. We lift each other up. Love it. I noticed you said no to to use. Okay. All right. Okay. Somebody said never say no. You can, even if you're not sure, you can mention the ones you've used, right? And I'll tell everybody if you in GRT space, at least you should be able to tell me, well, I use Share Drive or SharePoint or a repository to track our documentation because you want at least, or maybe Excel to track. We use a GRC tool called Risk Rhino, right? But at least be able to say one. And most of them are very similar in nature, so it's not a big deal. Okay, let's another one. Engage the interview or panel a little more personal. I like that. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Remember again the concept back to being a storyteller. Just make it personal. You can ask them specifically, what are some of your pain points? Walk me through how long you've been here, what's keeping you, here, what's the culture like? So now you're getting me into a space of mentally seeing you as a peer working together. So you're just creating a mental image in my head that, oh, okay. Oh, what I mean, if you tell me you've been here for 10 years, nobody stays that long in any job now. So in my head, I'm already thinking, oh, okay, this is a good conversation. I'll ask you, what about the culture kept you for 10 years? I must ask this, right? And they will chuckle and say, oh, okay, this guy really is thinking maybe they want to spend 10 years. Now, of course, I know you probably want to spend 2 years or whatever, but it's just to create a story, right? Okay, let's another. It's a win, just showing up and pushing. I love it. Bumi, you're awesome. That is so much a win. And I'll challenge everybody. Sometimes we think, oh, showing up is negative. No, the data will not lie. 80% of our guys that show up on Lions Den get a job. 80%. Boom. In 3 months. So they get better because the confidence, we give them feedback. Look at all this feedback. Imagine she working on all this feedback. Boom. It's a different level of confidence. I can't even, I mean, no capping, guys. I can't even make it up. This is awesome. Okay, love it. Keep building on what you know. You got this. Thank you, Bumi. You did great. A big panel with great nervousness. You got this. Interview one-sided. Love it. Love it. Okay, I think we talked about this. Excel is used in GRC. Awesome job. Thank you so much, folks. Thank you, community. You guys are awesome. Don't forget to please jam the like button, and let's give some love to to Rosemary. Everybody, let's give her some love. Everybody,
Thank you.
awesome job. Let's give her some love. Awesome job. Awesome job. Awesome job. I mean, man, half of the battle, in my opinion, is showing up. I'll say that anytime, man. Half of the battle is showing up. Sometimes, and I'll tell you the truth, before we got in, she was telling, hey, should we just push it? I said, hey, why? Come on, let's give it a shot. We learn from the process, we give you feedback, and we improve on it. That's the goal. I don't want you to be good in the mock and you don't give me an offer. I would rather have you quickly get your gaps, we fix it. Then, another thing, let me quickly add this from one of our big mentors, Tafik. Try to reduce the feeder words. Yes, just remove as much as possible. And I know most of us always do that, but try and just be intentional in your mind and say, okay, let me reduce these filler words. And yeah, that's really all we got for today. Thanks for showing up, everybody. And I know some of you asked me about the upcoming program. Thank you all. We have this class coming up on April 26th. So it's open to registration right now. Some of the roles most of our guys and ladies that work on our programs get, these are some of the roles out there. Risk analyst, GRC analyst, these are the roles we've seen. And for those of us that are interested in land legacy project, we have a group where we invest in land in the US. So feel free to join that too. And but that's all we got. Thank you all for showing up. You guys are awesome. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll talk to you all soon. Thank you. Thank you, sis. Awesome job.
Thank you, sir.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Skill Weed Academy, break down the walls. Rise up, leaders, let the beat guide your way. Unlock your potential, seize the day. From the dance floor to the boardroom, let your light shine, shine. Skill Weed Academy, it's your time. Oh, 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 feel the drums pulsating, the energy so strong. Join the movement where dreams belong. From Lagos to Nairobi, hear the call. Skill Weed Academy, break down the walls. In the heart of Africa, a flame ignites, a rhythm so vibrant, it sets minds alight. Skill Weed Academy, where leaders are born. Embrace the tempo, let your dreams take storm. Rise up, leaders, let the beat guide your way. Unlock your potential, seize the day. From the dance floor to the boardroom, let your light shine, shine. Skill Weed Academy, it's your time. Feel the drums pulsating, the energy so strong. Join the movement where dreams belong. From Lagos to Nairobi, hear the call. Skill Weed Academy, break down the walls. Rise up, leaders, let the beat guide your way. Unlock your potential, seize the day. From the dance floor to the boardroom, let your light shine, shine. Skill Weed Academy, it's your time. Oh, 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 feel the drums pulsating, the energy so strong. Join the movement where dreams belong. From Lagos to Nairobi, hear the call. Skill Weed Academy, break down the walls. In the heart of Africa, a flame ignites, a rhythm so vibrant, it sets minds alight. Skillweed Academy, where leaders are born. Embrace the tempo, let your dreams take storm. Rise up, leaders, let the beat guide your way. Unlock your potential, seize the day. From the dance floor to the boardroom, let your light shine, shine. Skillweed Academy, it's your time. Feel the drums pulsating, the energy so strong. Join the movement, where dreams belong. From Lagos to Nairobi, hear the call. Skillweed Academy, break down the walls. Rise up, leaders, let the beat guide your way. Unlock your potential, seize the day. From the dance floor to the board.